Hi there and welcome. Well, I've got this old watercolour painting and I really didn't know what to do with it, but I actually love the texture on it. So I decided that I'm going to repurpose it and I'm just outlining some little butterflies. I thought the patterns on there really did represent butterfly wings and I thought it would make a great piece. So I've just outlined the largest of the 3 butterflies that I'm going to do, and I'm just trying to cut it out. A little bit fiddly. I really could do with some better scissors, and I really do need to invest because these are a little bit clumpy, trying to get around the corners to get this butterfly out. So I'm sort of getting there. It's just taking a little bit of time. I painted this watercolour picture, I don't know, about maybe a year ago, 9 months, a year ago. And I just used some Malanga watercolours and a silver pen. And I just penned some little circles on there. I don't know whether you can see that. And I just left it. And the square which you can see all the flowers on, that was from calendar. So I just thought, right, I'll cut this calendar up. It was the end of the year and save all the bits. So that's part of that. I just love repurposing old pictures. And you can see on the back of that butterfly, there's another picture on there. And if I'd have thought about it, I would have painted the back pink or gold or something like that. But I didn't, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just going ahead and just drawing out the next butterfly. I've used a gold pen this time, just so hopefully you'll be able to see the shape there. It's still not very bold, but I think you can just make it out. So continuing with that cutting out, and once I've cut it out, I'm just going round and shaping it with the scissors. And then I've got a gold felt tip pen and I'm just colouring in the body of the butterflies. So again, going in for the last butterfly, cutting it out again and just following the lines that I've already made. And once I've done that, I will follow the process of folding the wings up and getting that gold pen and colouring the body. So I've got a black fine liner pen here and I'm just highlighting the body, just making some shapes on there, just so you can identify the head from the rest of the body. And then I've got this lovely art journal, brand new, and this is going to be the first picture that I do in there. So I think that square fits in really nice, and I've got some old wrapping paper here, some gold wrapping paper, and I'm going to cut that up into strips. 4 strips, because that is going to go around the edges of that lovely centerpiece. So equal distances. I'm not really measuring, I'm just sort of guessing and just cutting that up into those strips. I've got some Mod Podge glue here and a flat brush, and I'm liberally putting that glue on the back of that centerpiece and just positioning it where I want, gluing that down, and then going on to the wrapping paper. Trying to be careful with the wrapping paper, it's quite delicate, it's like tissue paper, so I can just tear the edges off, but it can sort of stick to your fingers and you end up tearing it, so I'm trying to be a little bit careful. I hadn't got enough glue on it there, so I just had to pull it up and re-glue that section, and then just continuing round that blank page edge and putting all of that lovely gold on there. So when I've finished that, I've had a look at the page and I think, oh, I'm a little bit unsure about the edges between the 2 parts. So I'm just got my watercolor painting again, and I'm just cutting off some strips here because I just love the lovely pink, and I'm just going to edge that there. So hopefully it won't look so bland. I thought it just looked a bit wishy-washy. I didn't really like it. And I think the pink there will just break that wishy-washiness up. Again, using the Mod Podge glue and just gluing down those little watercolor painting strips. You just got to be careful that you haven't got any glue on your fingers or that your fingers are wet with the watercolor painting, because if you're actually rubbing that down, then you can smudge all that paint. And I think I did a little bit there. Luckily, you can't really notice it, but I think if I'd have continued, I could have ruined that strip and would have had to have pulled it off and start again. So going around, putting these strips on, it's quite easy to do. You've just got to sort of roughly measure, and you can sort of cut them off once you've stuck them down. And I'm just double checking that they are secured by just adding a little bit more glue there. You can see the painting that I've done that was underneath that particular painting. You see it there, the green and the beige. So it was just a page of circles, so nothing really to keep. So you need to check that before you start cutting out your old paintings, just in case there's a picture underneath that you really, really like and you accidentally cut it up. So I've just placed the butterflies where I roughly think I want them to be, and I've just put some glue on one of the wings because I want the other one to stick up, and that's the reason for you actually folding them in half and getting those wings to come up off the page. So it makes it look a little bit 3D. Real delight when you get down and have a look at it. So I'll show you that at the end and you'll be able to see that 3D effect. So because you can't really see the butterflies that well, just because they're heavily patterned and so is the background, I've got the gold felt tip pen that I coloured the bodies in to create like this shadow around them, which I think is a good effect. So just going around the wings that are glued down to that background. And then I've got my black fine liner because I needed a heavier kind of colour there, and I'm doing that really quite close to those wings. So you can now see it sort of makes the wings pop out, just gives it that 3D kind of feel. So continuing around all three of the butterflies, and then when I've stood back, I've just thought to myself, well, now I can't really see the top of the butterfly wing, so the wing that's actually folded away from the page. So I've just grabbed a black felt tip pen and I'm just going to colour in that white bit of the page that is on the edge of the butterflies, and that'll just help that pop out a bit. So I've done that on all three of the butterflies, and it really, really does help when you stand back. You can see that it really makes them pop out off the page, and you can see that 3D effect of that wing that's standing up. So you can see here the lovely detail, and I think it's worked quite well. You can see where I've blacked around the top of those butterflies, and you've seen how easy it is to do. So I hope you get to try. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'd love to see you again soon.